to the Rock Bottom podcast. My name's Dom.
I'm Kelsey.
And thank you so much for tuning in today. We are very excited to launch this podcast. Honestly, it's been really a dream of mine for a really long time. This is something that we've really reflected on and took the time to understand and develop, and we're really excited to be able to bring it to you.
Yeah, we're super excited. We've gotten a lot of support recently, and it was unexpected, at least for me. But we appreciate each and every one of you. If you're tuning into the first episode, or if you've already subscribed, we have 0 videos on the channel. We really, really appreciate you guys. It's been amazing to just see the support from friends and family as we've been launching this, and we just wanted to take a second to highlight how much we really appreciate that. We're trying to build a community, a support group of people, and we're gonna go into more about what we're gonna do, what we plan on doing for the podcast, why we named it Rock Bottom, what it means to us. Like he said, I think this has been a dream of his for quite a while, so this is more of his vision, but I'm just as excited to support it and ride along and help. He's kind of the one taking the main reins on this.
For this first episode, we're going to be discussing a little bit more about ourselves. This is going to be an introduction. We're also going to be talking about why we named this podcast what we did. We're also going to go into a little bit of why we're here, our goals, our mission with this podcast.
We plan to cover all of your questions today. We've been getting questions what's the podcast about? Why is it called Rock Bottom? We're going to go over all of that fun stuff today, so we're excited to get right into it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you want to tell them why we chose Rock Bottom as the name of the podcast?
Yeah, of course. Okay. We chose Rock Bottom mainly... Well, you chose Rock Bottom. You're the one that named it.
It was my idea.
Yeah.
But were we not both in it?
Oh, we were definitely both in it. You said it, and I was like, I got rock hard.
I think we were having a deep discussion a couple nights after. Okay, so we discussed that we wanted to do a podcast. He said I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I was let's do it. Literally that was exactly how it happened. He was just yeah, he's mentioned it a few times throughout our relationship, but it just never we never took it seriously. But then he was talking about what he wants to do with his life, and he was just yeah, I really want to do a podcast. I want to get this stream going, which he's also working on. Gucci Dom. And and he was just I want to do a podcast, and I was let's just do it. Let's fuck it. Let's do it. And we're just okay. So and then I think we thought that we were gonna be able to throw together a podcast in a week and and be fine, and it was so much more work than we thought. Of course, as everything is, I feel but we thought we could just throw it together and get started, but no, it takes a lot more planning and stuff like that. So we really have buckled down and tried to get as much done as we can. But we were having a deep discussion one night, and I think we were just talking about the significance of hitting rock bottom. I think we were just agreeing that the times we've hit rock bottom in our life was when we really changed or really grew more into who we are, or we got more connected with our identity. So we just realized how important and significant rock bottom actually is, and how many people are afraid to hit rock bottom. People are afraid to be stripped of everything they love or think that they need. When actuality, I feel when you get stripped of all the things of that you think you need in your life, that's when you grow the most, because you are forced to literally just be you in rock bottom, and you have to it's only you know what I mean? So I think we agreed on that, and then a few days later I think I was what if we named the podcast Rock Bottom? And I think you said you loved it.
Right from the jump I was in it. I was let's do this, that sounds incredible. We both decided that this is exactly what we think this country and this world needs. It is more not toxic positivity or positivity, because I feel there's enough of that. There's enough emotion motivational videos out there. We just wanted to show everybody that, it's okay to be there. It's okay to be at rock bottom. It's okay to really embellish and understand what it's like to be there, and know you're not the only one. We've all experienced it. We've all gone down that road and felt like we're never coming back from this. We're never going to grow from this, but that's not the case. You don't always have to tell yourself that I'm here again. This is what it's going to be like for me. There's never going to be any growth. I thought the same thing for myself. I struggled with multiple different occasions where I felt like this was just my identity. This is who I was going to be for the rest of my life. I was just going to keep making these decisions, making these poor choices, and that was going to be me. That was Dom. But until I really just laid there and took it all in and was like, this is my rock bottom. I don't want this to be my identity. I want to really grow and show myself who I actually am, get out of my comfort zone. Because let's face it, anxiety it's not something that goes away. We learn to deal with it, we learn to master it, but it's always there and we can use it to our advantage. But like she was saying, rock bottom is a beautiful thing. It's just on how we really identify it and learn to cope with it and use it to our advantage as well, just like our anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with everything you just said, like using bad things to your advantage. I think that's really like a big theme of this podcast as well, is flipping the script on society. Is we're going to be doing these podcasts every Monday morning to start your week off right, to flip the script on society of like that, theme of like mundane Mondays and like dreading Mondays and dreading the start of the week. Like I feel like that's always been something I've heard since I was a kid, is like, Monday's coming, or it's Monday again. Like, and we want to do our podcast specifically on Monday mornings to start our own week off right, to start your week off right, to flip the script on society and be like, you can start your week with great energy, and with not everything basically doesn't have to be what society has told you. And that's like a big theme of this podcast, is we have just our dynamic as a couple, I think, as well, and as individuals, we love to flip the script on society, and we love to like be like, fuck that, like be like, we're gonna do whatever we want. Age is a construct, so many things are just constructs that you don't have to listen to, and it's just societal standards. And so we plan on breaking through all those walls and showing you guys how to do it as well. And we're starting right on rock bottom with you guys, intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you just said right there too. And I just want to also piggyback on the concept that we do this every day. We talk to each other, we have these conversations, and that was also a main push on like why we thought the podcast would be right for us, is because we literally shoot the shit on all these concepts.
We're always having our own little podcast, all the time.
Put a camera in front of us and
these
conversations. Basically. Yeah, because like we really do dive into like why this society is the way it is, and why things, we're always questioning why, like motives, we're always questioning the agenda, we're always questioning, why this, why that. So why not just, put this in front of a camera and show people that, other people have these conversations too. Like, you're not alone in those conversations either. We're all wondering the same thing. We're all human. We're all just trying to cope and fit into the society. Mm-hmm. In this world.
Figure it out, just like everyone else. I feel like no human has it like figured out. Like, I feel like we're all just like here and trying to figure it out, and everyone's like pushing their ideas of what they think they've figured out, which I guess is what we're doing a little bit. But like, we're also admitting that like things aren't perfect, that we don't know. Disclaimer: we don't know. Like we don't claim to either. Yeah, it's just we're here to like share with you our experiences, but what has helped us. And honestly, like, it might not work for you. Like, it might work for you, it might not, because I feel like each person is different. I feel like each journey is different. Take what you can from this podcast, but we're not here to tell you who to be or how to do it. We really just want to build a strong, supportive community. We plan on opening Discord chats for small groups, for different topics, for mental health. We plan on doing a lot of different stuff. So we really just, one of the biggest things is like support and community. I think that's another big theme for our podcast, or like goal, is we want, if you're tuning in, to know that you're so appreciated, and also like I want us all to be equals, you know? Like I hate those like things when you tune in and it's like it feels like they're talking down to you. So like that's not what we want to do. We really want to like meet you where you're at, see everybody as an equal, see each other as a community and like a support system, and show you what we know, what works for us. And we're gonna have some fun too. We plan on doing like, you know, games and funny things. We want to keep it lighthearted. We want to bridge the gap really between you and the things that feel so far away, because I think one of the biggest things too that like brought me to do this podcast, or that made me want to do this podcast, is like there was a point in my life where I really thought things were so far and so out of reach, and I feel like it's so much closer than you think, and I kind of just needed somebody to show me that, and I'm grateful for the people that showed me that. But now I want to pass that on to other people, because it seems like a common theme, like everyone is, you know, unmotivated because they feel so far away from the person they want to be, or the goals that they have, or what they want to do, when it's really just like a step away. Like you just got to go, like you just got to start doing it, you just got to start taking steps. And know it sounds like easier said than done, but we're going to talk about specific stories, specific examples as we go on in the podcast. We'll continue to bring up why rock bottom is significant. You know, we'll dive deeper in more and more as the episodes go on every single week. But today we're here to kind of just give you an overview of like what the podcast is going to look like and who we are and what we want out of it. And I think it's really exciting.
Absolutely. Very well said. I also love what you just said there. I also want to add on to the fact that we are not professionals. We're just sharing stories. We're sharing who we are as people and giving you insight on maybe something you can learn from what we did, or grow in your own life from our experiences. But we also do want to bring on professionals as well that also know what they're talking about as far as psychological standpoints as well.
Also like relatable people though. Like we want to bring on, you know, later on viewers, or just relatable people, people in the Discords or whatever. So yeah, we plan on having guests. We plan on doing so much. We have a lot of ideas. So we've just been like exploding with ideas lately. And
if anybody's comfortable sharing their stories or want something they want put out, we're totally open to that.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah.
Like as she was saying, we are all about community. We're all about growing. We're still growing ourselves, and we just want to put all of that together and make a beautiful, honestly happy like family in the world, because we think that's something we've not really seen too much lately. We've seen a lot of chaos going on in the world, a lot of, you know, negative impact of things as far as
just a lot of negative energy in America, honestly. Like I know the whole world is negative energy. There's so many bad things happening in so many different countries right now, unfortunately. But I really feel like, you know, it's hard to understand things that you're not in. Something I am in and I do understand is America, and I can feel the negative energy that's just looming over the nation. Like I just feel like that's another thing where both of us are like huge empaths, and so we go off a lot on like energies and feelings, because we just feel like we're really in tune with our intuition and empathy, and that can take you so far. And I just feel like there's a real depression and negative attitude amongst America right now. Everyone is disappointed in our leaders, and, you know, just everything that's happening in America. It's quite sad, and we want to bring, I guess, a bit of a change and hope to our viewers and to our family. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. This is not what we think is the most put together time in the whole world.
But so it's like the perfect time.
It's the perfect time
to show. I feel like America is about to hit rock bottom. Like I feel like I think I was telling you this last night. Like I literally feel like America's gonna hit rock bottom sometime soon.
Yeah, it has to. I mean,
And I'm excited for it because, as you guys know, we advocate for rock bottom. Like, that's where change happens. That's where growth happens. That's where things really turn around. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that crash. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for us.
Should we get into like a little bit who we are as individuals?
Yeah.
You kind of already talked about
Yeah,
your anxiety and stuff like that. Do you want to press any more on that, or?
Sure.
You don't have a diagnosis, right? No. But you really are like 99% sure that you have like social anxiety, or like what? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't go ahead and say that 99%, but if I see a group of people, I'm probably gonna turn it over.
Okay, tell them about Apple the other day.
Oh my goodness. So piggybacking on what she said about like how much went into like the start of this podcast, I had a bunch of lint in my charging port on my phone, and we need to plug things in my phone for this podcast. So I went to the mall, went to the Apple store, and by the way, I got lost in the mall. Let's start off with that.
It was probably the anxiety, like, already finding you.
Anything would change, I'm like, where am I?
I'm surprised he went to the mall without me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he hates going in public. Like, literally, like, one time we were like at Universal, and we were walking by one of the stores, and I was like, let's go in the store. And he was like, yeah, let's go. And then we looked in, and there was a ton of people, and he was like, oh, never mind.
Oh my goodness. It's like ants coming out of an anthill, and you're just like, why do I want to push myself into those little cracks and crevices? But yeah, no. Yes, I toughed it up. I went into the mall, which I haven't been in a mall since like before COVID.
Yeah, like, malls exist still.
I didn't know people still went in malls, but it was packed. And I'm walking around, I'm like, where is this store? Because preemptively, I looked at Google Maps to know exactly where the store was, so exactly.
Yeah, you know what? You hate Googling things until it's like something like that. You're like, let me pinpoint exactly where I need to go. But everything else, he's like, I'll figure it out.
Yep. Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Man, things are good. We got this. So I get in there, I make the turns I think are correct, and totally lost. I went up to the concierge and I was like, where is this Apple
He
store?
asked someone for help. He never does that. That's crazy.
I had to let my pride down for a second. And the lady was nice. She was like, it's right here to the right. You just right on the right. So literally right where I started, if I would have just looked to the right when I got in the mall.
That's why I'm saying your anxiety was blinding you.
For some reason, because I was on the right side, I was looking to the left. And I guess I just missed it. And anyway, so I look in there, and it is like a bonanza. It's like a fiesta. It's packed to the wall. People going crazy, yelling, "This is my iPhone now!" Like, I'm just like, what? It's just like chaos.
Bro, that's what I imagine you see.
I was like, Apple's getting when you look right now. What is happening?
He said he almost turned around and left. You got home and you were like, I saw the store and I almost turned around and left.
It's so funny. It was like this is the wall. I'm like peeping. And I'm like, nope.
That had me laughing. So touching a little more on like who we are as individuals, I think we'll get into that like a lot throughout the podcast. Obviously, like you guys will get to know us, but just to like touch on who we are a little bit. I'm currently like a aspiring artist, I guess you could say. I like to call myself an artist, but I'm not really quite there. I like to sew. I'm working on a few projects right now for a couple movies coming out in the fall, Halloween, scary type movies. One is like a / comedy. So I'm working on some lines for that. I'm very excited about it, very appreciative of the people that took me on those jobs. And I have some lines coming out soon, but I won't be exposing them anytime soon until they are coming out in the fall. So we're also going to start like a merch line for the pod and everything, so we've got a lot planned. I do a lot of poetry on my Instagram. I like to write. I'm really into music. I just am working on that right now, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasted a lot of time in my life not doing important things. So like I had a pretty traumatic childhood, and as much as I have to be grateful for out of my childhood or my upbringing, there's a lot to be grateful for, but I did have a traumatic childhood. So basically the first 18 years of my life, I was kind of just trying to survive and like, you know, cope and figure out like how to get out of those traumatic situations, honestly. So I didn't really start finding myself until I was like I would honestly say as late as 21. I'm only 23. And like I moved out when I was 19. I really didn't come to terms with my identity for a long time because I was raised Christian. I was raised really strict Christian. Growing up, I'm no longer in the church. I do respect any and all belief systems or whatever way of lifestyle you choose. I just also respect my own identity and myself. And that being said, I had to make some decisions when it came to that. So it wasn't until I left the church that I really found my identity and figured out who I was. And we can get into more of that later. But I got a diagnosis last August, so it hasn't even been a year. My diagnosis in August was PTSD and borderline personality disorder. I've only had one psychiatrist meeting, so I mean, I don't think she's wrong. It seems pretty accurate, but I've only had one diagnosis, so you know, that can be really sticky. Mental health is really gray, you know, it's not so black and white. So of course, you know, I've only had one diagnosis is basically what I'm trying to say, but those are my two diagnoses, and it's honestly helped. Knowing those diagnoses has helped me deal with them because it made a lot of stuff make sense. I didn't really feel crazy anymore. A lot of my life I felt like a little crazy, and I realized that I was just traumatized from my childhood, you know? And so like a lot of healing had to come in to like really deal with those things. But it's honestly only been up, and healing isn't linear, so it's not going to be like a straight like path like this up, you know what I mean? But you're going to have bad days. You're going to have times that it feels like you took 10 steps back and all that was for nothing or something, and that's not true. I'll heal and then I'll have a terrible day, or I'll have a terrible fucking month, like, and just feel like I'm back to square one. And you know, just a reminder that healing isn't linear. That's not true. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have times that life will really shake you up. There's always going to be people preying on your downfall, hating on you, gossiping about you. You're always going to have people in your past that have perceptions of you that aren't true anymore. Maybe that was the truth at the time, and maybe you used to be a bad person. Maybe you made bad decisions. Maybe you hurt some people. I've been there. But that's not who you are anymore. And you know, you have to let those perceptions just lay with them, unfortunately, unless it's somebody that you still want in your life and you can reconcile that. But otherwise, if you're not in each other's lives anymore, you kind of just have to let them lay with those perspectives and let them think that of you, because life is not linear. Healing's not linear. I feel like in my life, at least, nothing is linear. It feels like it's always back and forth. And so I basically wanted to highlight that I am a borderline personality. I do have PTSD. If you relate with any of those diagnoses or any mental diagnoses, we're definitely here to relate with you on that, because I've struggled with anxiety. I've struggled with depression. I feel like borderline touches into like a lot of other mental illnesses. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like you have anxiety or you feel like you have depression and you really just have borderline. Like you like tap into like other things, you know what I mean? I don't know if other borderlines relate with that, but that's how I feel. And we just wanted to highlight to you guys that we're just people who don't have perfect backgrounds, who haven't been perfect people, who have messed up, who have hit rock bottom, who know what it's like to struggle with mental illness, to know what it's like to feel like you're not doing enough or you're not enough, or what's wrong with me. In actuality, you just don't know maybe yourself enough, or your background hasn't been analyzed enough to understand why you feel the way you do or why you are the way you are. There's an answer and a reason for almost everything, and oftentimes it ends up not being your fault. You know, oftentimes you're like, why am I like this for years and years? And you realize, oh, I was like that because of that. And it wasn't really something that was your fault. It was something that took place in like adolescence or something like that. And like I said, everything's gray. Nothing's black and white. So each situation is specific, so we're gonna have to like really dive into stuff to be more accurate on things. But we basically just wanted to share that we're right here on rock bottom with you guys, also healing. We're not done healing. We've still got a lot of shit to figure out. So
that was beautifully said.
Thank
honestly,
you
for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thanks.
That was incredible. And letting me in particular, getting to know you has been an honor of mine. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Like, it was incredible hearing it, and I've definitely had the honor and the privilege to get to know you more over the course of our relationship. And I'm excited for her also to share more of her story. As far as me, where to even start? Grew up in South Florida, 2 moms.
Very different from my upbringing.
Very different.
Yeah.
Probably polar opposites.
Yeah.
Upbringing, as far as like how to raise a child. I grew up with mostly a single mom dynamic. I had 2 moms. She has been both the mother figure and the father figure for me. So that's why every Mother's Day, Father's Day, she's the star. Love you, Mom. Yeah, I grew up with 2 moms, so right out the gate, I knew what adversity was like. My mom always challenged me to have an open mind, to take everything around me, to not ever back down from anybody that tells you no or tells you you can't do something, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I graduated high school and I left home right at 17 years old.
Younger than me.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was younger than you.
I don't even know that.
Yeah. I thought I was all grown up. I thought I had a job for 2-3 years before I left for college. I was ready to take on the world. At least I thought.
Yeah.
It's like one of those images in your mind where you're all like, oh, I got money put away for savings. I have a goal in mind for college, and you almost like you're riding that bicycle for the first time with no wheels. You're all confident. It's a little wobbly, but you're holding on, and kind of just yeah. You kind of. But you're still not there yet. You still fall. You still get back up.
And sometimes you're like, "Where are my training wheels?"
You're like,
Mom,
I missed them. Give them back to me. But yeah, I've definitely incurred a lot of different experiences, a lot of different, as we call them, rock bottom moments. I don't think I really understood what depression and anxiety were until I left for college, until I really enveloped who I was as a human, until I left the guardrails that we call home. I've run into numerous situations of not knowing the right course. I struggled with anxiety, I struggled with depression, especially when quarantine happened. I didn't really understand what that meant. I also really struggled with shortcuts in life. I thought that in order to make my family proud, I really had to have success, and I didn't really understand what that was. I thought by having money, by having wealth, by having things, that was my way of showing my family that I was successful. And it really was until I overcame gambling addiction and these shortcuts in life that I really did begin to show my family success, because it is really hard to overcome something when it's constantly being shown in our face as a society that, oh, just gamble, just do this, just do that, put your money here, it'll grow.
Yeah, like, buy, or like, I feel like it's constantly put in our face, like, to buy nice things, like money returns, like just blow it basically. And I feel like you had this construct of thinking you needed like nice things, like the top brand and stuff like that to feel successful. In actuality, it was like you would have nice stuff and then like you're in debt from gambling.
Absolutely. But I got the help I needed. reached out. I have people that are holding me accountable, and that really helped me when I was at rock bottom numerous times. No money, nothing in my wallet, hadn't eaten. I really just kept hitting that rock, and I was like, why do I keep doing this to myself? Why am I still in this situation? It wasn't until I made sure people were holding me accountable, making sure that I wasn't doing anything that resembled gambling in any type of way, that I really grew as a person and really decided to take a huge step in the right direction. Apart from that, if there's anybody that, has any questions involving that or anything that they feel like they've also struggled with that type of mentality or struggle as well, I'm more than welcome to talk about it more as well. Apart from that, I am also a gamer. I love video games. That's something that I feel like a lot of us in our late 20s, early 30s really grasped onto as kids, because it was like such a good way to get through the 2008 like house crisis. A lot of us were poor. Video games were a way to escape. It was a beautiful way to like really also understand what community was as well.
Like talk about RuneScape, because
Yeah.
like RuneScape is your main game,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And RuneScape in particular, like it really brought people from all over the world into this one game. And we didn't really appreciate it as kids or understand the value of really talking to someone that was halfway across the world. But it really does open your mind in a lot of different senses, because you didn't know who this person was. You didn't know who they were, how they were brought up, their culture. But we all came together in love for a game and love for, understanding each other as well through the game. And I thought that was a beautiful experience. I continued to grow in that mindset when I played video games. And that's really what I want to bring out in my stream as well. That idea that we can all come together for a love of something and grow together.
Absolutely.
RuneScape has really showed me people, and the community is top tier. It really is beautiful. Everybody always wants to see you grow. They're more than willing to help you.
Like supportive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very supportive. I've rarely run into people that, there are also people that are negative, but it's more rare. But the people that are very positive and really want to see you grow and answer all your questions and always there, I've kept in my circle the whole time. You know who you are. And and I really do appreciate those people that even if you feel like you have a stupid question, they'll answer it. We've all played this game for such a long time. We understand it. There's other people that, just starting to learn, and, we take the time to make sure that they have all the resources they need, love what they do, and the community is just amazing, and they want to see you grow as a person, not only in the game, but as your own person in real life. And I've gained so many like disciplinary actions in my life from that game, and understand people in a whole other light because of how much help I've had through that community. And it really is just beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like the community you've described to me that you see in RuneScape is kind of like something we want to bring over to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that strong, close-knit community of like support. Like no haters here.
1000% agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have so much we want to bring to this podcast. We're loving it so far. We've given complete devotion for this community that we're going to grow into, and we love you.
We've been working really hard getting this podcast launched and off the ground, and we're really excited for all of our ideas. We have so many more exciting episodes coming, and we really appreciate everyone that tuned in. Thank you so much for watching, if you did, and giving our podcast a chance with the first episode. Appreciate all you guys. Love you. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes. We have a lot planned, and we have a lot more fun coming. So this was just the intro to explain to you guys what what this is, but we've got a lot more coming. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys.